ain't scared to lose a little, take a risk and make it back. Have you seen the way I train? Ain't no slipping off a track. Cause we only move forward, ain't no way we going back. There's big money on the table, I'm not trying to break the rules. Cause my ego now I'm poor and I got bigger things to prove. I done stood it's time to plan it out and now it's going smooth. If it's between
What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another episode of the Extreme Lifestyle Living Podcast. Now, today's episode, what I want to talk about is a difference between your life situation and then who you are within your life. Now, first and foremost, I am recording this episode in the car, and I haven't edited any of these episodes that I have done in the car yet, so I'm not sure what the audio is going to be like when it translates, because it is obviously my phone microphone versus a higher quality one that I use at home. So just full transparency, just if anything sounds a little bit different over a couple of the episodes, that is why. But the biggest reason why I'm sharing that is because I want to be honest as to, a lot of you guys ask me how I do the podcast and do so many things in my day and the run of a life. And to be honest, it's just about giving yourself the grace to just do it without limitations. What I mean by that is usually I'd be recording my episodes at home with a full setup, thinking I need to have this high standard in office, and And at the end of the day, as long as I'm giving you guys impact, giving you guys value, staying on topic and on theme, and not ranting and rambling and being too emotional, we're good. You know what I mean? So today's episode, what I wanted to talk about was your life situation versus who you are within your life. And the reason why I want to talk about this is because it's not only something that I've been researching lately or kind of getting more feedback from in a couple books that I've been reading, but it's something that I've been really trying to articulate for myself, because not only do I believe I struggle with this, but I believe a lot of people struggle with this. And what it is that, there's your life situation, which is where you have your life set up. Like who you are in your career, your status in terms of like your marriage, your relationship, these things, your financial status. It's almost just your status, your accolades, like your suit that you wear when you leave the house every day. That's your life situation. Your life stressors, you got taxes, you got your job, you got kids, you got bills, you got all of these different things, right? And then there's you within your life. And I feel like sometimes there's like a direct correlation through, us being within our life, living with turmoil in terms of depression, in terms of anxiety, in terms of, self-doubts, limiting beliefs, all these different things. And a lot of them stem from just being riddled with just not knowing what we are doing with our life situation versus who we are amongst our life. Let me paint a picture. Let's say you are a busy professional working a 9 to 5, that you really do care about your career. You're career driven, you're trying to grow within your field, you're trying to be better with your nutrition, you're trying to work out, and you're trying to keep a fucking healthy lifestyle with your friends, family, and just, obviously if you're not in a relationship, you're trying to pursue a relationship or be out there with people, right? It's hard to balance all that stuff. So as you are trying to advance your career, that's going to take time out of your life. It's going to create stress. You're not going to just fly through that easy peasy lemon squeezy. Things are going to come up. Same with tracking nutrition and working out and trying to balance your personal time with your family time, with building maybe a relationship or hang with your friends to kind of get away from life. Eventually one of these pillars in your life is going to cause you some stress, cause you some turmoil. And the reason why I want to highlight you amongst your life with your life situation with this is because if you can gain an understanding as to what part of your life situation is creating certain stresses in your life, you'll be able to compartmentalize your life situation amongst you being within your life. So prime example, let's just say it's Wednesday, you're a very career driven person, you're doing a certificate, you're working 9 to 5, you're taking some extra courses, you got to go to the gym, and it's middle of the week, you don't get no meal prep. We're not going to deny the stress that comes up from that. You know what I mean? Your life situation is you got no food, you're a little bit behind the pace, you fucked up a little bit in some regard of that. Life situation is you do have a certificate on top of your 9 to 5 job you got to do, and you still got to go to the gym. So we're not going to devalidate or ignore, the stress that brings. However, what we're going to highlight is compartmentalizing the stress that comes from the fact that it's just a life situation. There's common answers for the common problems that we're talking about right now, right? No meal prep? Why are we not meal prepping? Let's have a conversation with ourselves in a calm demeanor and talk about what we can do better this time next week or this time tomorrow going forward. Same thing with our certificate. If we have to do extra studying and it gets in front of our gym time, what are we doing first? Are we valuing the gym and that's our priority? Or are we valuing, going home and studying for the certificate because that's our priority? And ultimately that comes down to what your priorities are, and it's a self-imposed question and answer you got to give yourself. But this is where this is where the paradox comes from your life situation versus you living within your life. Is if you allow that stress of not meal prepping, not being prepared for that, maybe that exam, or studying enough for that certificate, or maybe you got to miss a couple of gym sessions because your life is growing. how much or how detrimental that stress is to your personal life, how much anxiety you get, how much depression you get, how much self-imposed limitations, imposter syndrome, whatever arises, whatever mental turmoil arises from that, is entirely on your willingness to understand the difference between you being within your life and then your life situation. So if you blatantly are just freaking the fuck out, not giving yourself even any time to talk to yourself about, like, hey, why is my meals not prepared? Why am I feeling overwhelmed with studying for this exam? Why do I feel like I'm on my back foot? Like, if you're not actually having these conversations, then you're not even giving yourself a chance to find out who you are within your life, in your life situation. You know what I mean? So that's kind of where you got to start. Like, prime example right now, my life situation is I am 1 week out from a bodybuilding show. It is absolutely hard, and I'm not going to deny that. I'm eating low foods. My output for cardio, my training and stuff is ridiculously high. And my business and my clients and my trajectory as to where my professional career is going doesn't give a flying fuck. You know, so if I was to allow my life situation of all these stressors to bleed into my life, create more anxiety, create animosity, all these different things, rightfully so it would. You know, it's almost like a cheesy thing saying, if you think you're right, you're right. If you think you're wrong, well, guess what? You're right. So with this one here, it's really about taking those times throughout the course of the day, throughout the course of the weeks, and throughout the course of the months to really just take a pivot. And actually, my last episode, being grateful for your life, that's a huge segue as to like how you can kind of get more of this peace and grace in your life to kind of figure out that gap between who you are within your life versus your life situation. You know, and I think, you know, as you can start to really regulate, like, you know, your daily habits, your weekly habits, and your monthly habits to be in tune with, you know, your emotional responses, your emotional triggers, your stressors, you're going to be able to build a little bit more grace within your life to understand, like, who you are amongst your life situation versus who you actually are in your life. You know, because a lot of you guys compare the situations that your life are in with who you are as people, and it's just not right. You know, for the longest time, I used to identify as a broken kid from the ghetto with no mother, you know, no father, all of these different things, and it's like that was at one point my life situation. And it's like, to a certain degree, like, I'm never going to deny that, and I'm never going to remove that or devalue that side of my life and be like, that didn't happen to me, because that's not going to do me any good. I got to understand these emotions. However, what I can do is give myself some grace, give myself some self-love, have a conversation with myself, and just at least understand the difference between my life situation and who I am amongst my life. You know, it wasn't my fault a lot of these things happened. So once I understood that, went through the turmoil of my brain and just was more regulated with my stressors, my emotional responses to these things, I then, over time, as a compounded and being consistent on it, became better at just regulating that side of my life. You know, when life situations came up and life stressors came up, I was a lot more better at being calm, present, and just giving myself that grace and articulating, do I deserve to feel this stress, or is it something that I can handle by just understanding who I am and where I'm at in this present moment? Because again, like I'm saying, we can't deny life stressors, but again, if you just are being unorganized, you're not being proactive in terms of what you can do to control your anxiety, like journaling, you know, actually planning your schedule if you have a couple things going on. You're not proactively trying to meal prep, count your nutrition and go to the gym. Like, if you're not actually putting effort in every day, then it's like, go fuck yourself. You deserve to feel the riddled mess that you do, you know. And that's not to be rude, but it is what it is. You know, you can't expect results for the work that you haven't done, period, you know. So with this, you got to really fight for your well-being. You got to fight for your self-worth. You got to fight for that self-compassion, that self-love, and that self-grace, for your time and energy in this space to understand, am I my life situation and the stress is coming from that? Or am I who I am within my life situation, which is this great fucking beautiful person that I'm becoming? You know, because again, like I said, if life's hard, you got a lot of shit going on, we can't deny that. But life's always hard, but we always got to go harder. You know what I'm saying? So never deny who you are within your life, but always stand tall and just make sure that you're just on the front foot and being proud of who you're becoming. Because at the end of the day, shit's going to come up all the time. And that's why I love that saying. If you think you're right, you're right. Because if you think you're wrong, you're also right. You know, so if you're always on that proactive front foot, knowing who you are within your life situation, then no one can take any power away from you, even yourself. You know, so I just want to kind of go on a little bit of rant about that, about your life situation, who you are within your life. And I just think it's super, super fucking powerful because, you know, I have so much passion-filled things in my life that I'm doing, and it's so crazy for me to still feel some of the mental turmoil of overworking and just not giving myself self-grace in certain things in my life because of just not understanding how to relax and not understanding how to just give myself my piece of me, of who I am within my life situation. So for what it's worth, I hope you guys had some takeaways. And like I said, I am recording this on the phone in the car, so I wonder how that's going to sound for you guys. But at the end of the day, I just hope you guys got a little bit of takeaways. I'm not going to lie, at the end of this podcast, I'm trying to close it off, but I'm in traffic, and one guy literally just was in the, he literally was just out in the middle of the intersection when he shouldn't have been, and it was just hilarious watching him do that. But I hope you guys got some takeaways, hope you guys got some impact, and at the end of the day, just believe in yourself relentlessly, and just know that, your life situation is not you. You're worth a hell of a lot more than you believe, and just be the best version of yourself always, relentlessly and unapologetically. Carry this energy into the week. I appreciate you all. Let's fucking go.
Life's hard, but we go harder, yeah, that's a fact. We ain't scared to lose a little, take a risk and make it back. Have you seen the way I train? Ain't no slipping off a track, cause we only move forward.